up, we have Mr. Tony Ciarelli. If you can unmute yourself, we can roll into the next. There you are. Awesome. So Tony, man, legendary, right?
Yeah, thank you.
And I don't even know, you probably do remember this, maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't, but I met you my senior year of high school when I came out to Arcadia Invitational, and I was like this unknown kid from Georgia. No one had ever seen me throw. And you were gracious enough to allow us to do a couple practice sessions before the competition.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
So thank you for joining us here. And yeah, have at it.
Try to see if I can get my PowerPoint up somewhere.
Yeah, you look.
No, that ain't it.
You should be good.
Okay, so screen. Do I bring my PowerPoint up first?
How about that? Try that.
Tony, if you hit the share screen button at the bottom, the green one, then it should come up with a series of files, folders, or screens, and you hit the screen that contains your presentation.
Mine is at the top. I'm hitting share screen, but for some reason,
If it says share screen, does something else come up after that? Does it open up another
screen,
box?
photos, iDrive.
And then one of those should be your presentation, your PowerPoint presentation.
Right, I'm not seeing PowerPoint for some reason.
Does it roll down? If you scroll down,
well, it looks like you just about had it. I got a message a few seconds ago that said sharing your screen.
Is this up?
That's just your name at the moment.
Right, but the PowerPoint's up?
No, PowerPoint's not. Well, yeah, sorry, if it's your name in white on black background, then your PowerPoint is up.
No. Come on. Why isn't this
Pretend to come
up?
out of the full screen, and then you should go back to the normal screen for Zoom, and then usually the share screen button is at the bottom, and then that will open up.
Mine's the top. It says share screen.
Are you on an iPad?
I am. Is that different?
I don't think it should be. That might just depend on where the share screen button is, but it should work. Oh, Joseph says you can't share on an iPad?
Really? No. Oh my God.
When you did it for the Portuguese guys, that was on a PC, right, rather than an iPad?
Yeah, that was on a PC.
Yeah, I haven't used an iPad, so but if you should be able to access the share screen, but Joseph says you can't do it on there. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen it before.
I tried to do it on an iPad before, it wouldn't let me. It doesn't let you switch over to like your PowerPoint. It only lets you get stuff that's in your drive and stuff that's in your photos when you're on your iPad. Versus a PC where you can select your PowerPoint.
Okay, so why don't we try this, Tony? If you can talk yourself through it, and maybe you can send me that if you'd be interested, and everyone who's on the call can view it after the fact.
Yes, we'll see what we can do.
Kidway, if he can send you the file now, you might be able to play it, and Tony can talk over the top of it. You can share your screen.
Right. Okay. So why don't we do that? And just so send it to me now and just start talking, and I'll fiddle and then share my screen and catch up.
All right, hold on. Send it.
Andrew is suggesting share screen button on the top right. I have never used the iPad for a Zoom call, so I don't know if that makes any difference.
It comes up share screen, but then when I hit share screen, it doesn't give me a choice to pick PowerPoint.
That may be a limitation of the Zoom app for iPad, that it doesn't allow you to share PowerPoint. I'm not sure.
Are you seeing that?
Which email did you send to?
Okay, so I'm sending it. Send a copy. Email with Outlook. I don't know what's going on. God damn it. Let me see. Is that up?
No, sir.
No? God damn it.
So I just put my email in there to you privately, drop that. Whoop. There we go. Okay.
I might have to do this one at a time. What else do I got here? Let's do this. Trying to get to what I think I can use if I can do video. I think I would have to do every one of these. Think I can do it.
Okay, so your
There we
screen
go.
your screen is back. Yep.
Got it? All right. So talking about the Discus. Here's Wolfgang. Mac went over this yesterday. And so spend a little time on the wind up and the start. As Mac said yesterday, you can see Wolfgang with his hips underneath between the two legs, flat foot on the right side, nice and long around the right side as he goes in. This is the same view, same position, different view. These are both the same throws from the back and the side. As you can see, once again, flat right foot, inside of the ball of the foot, long wind up, relaxed upper body. Like I said, just going over what Max said yesterday. 9 o'clock drop. Connect the armpit, the hip, the knee, and the foot. What I like about Wolfgang, and I use him as our model most of the time, obviously, as Sergey was just talking about, that different bodies, different motors, different strength levels. But I like the aspect of everything that Wolfgang did, Mac did. We use a lot of guys as far as models for who we're trying to copy. And so as you can see, good low to the left side, getting around the left side. Same picture from the side view. Hips are underneath him, shoulders are on top of the hips. He's coming towards his left side with the unwind around his left toe. And this is also what I like about Wolfgang. His lower body becomes a unit. And this is why I wish I had the video that I was going to show. But he connects his hips to his legs very well. And it comes around the corner all together. It's not separated. The synchronicity of the body on how it works together as a unit, but it is separate parts. So you have to put everything together to bring it there. Parallel shoulders, discus back over the hip, eyes on the landing area, dorsiflex the right foot, nice wide sweep. Bing Yu, back in the 90s, did a kind of how I kind of base what I do off of him. Did a biomechanical examination of the discus, and separation of the big toes in this position was a precursor to distance that he had found. So he did a survey of a bunch of throws over 65 meters, and one of the consistents was separating the big toes as you bring the right leg around. And the bigger the separation ended up being the farther the distance. So from the side view, you can see he gets a nice wide sweep. He's loading up on that left leg. Remember, we can't be perpendicular coming around the corner. We've got to load the left. We've got to push the knee down. We're trying to get over the top of the quad and load the quad up. But you can see he's got his knee, his hip, and his armpit still lined up. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to see the shoulders in front of the hips. He's relaxed through the shoulders, and he's bringing that right foot into the middle of the ring. Right, coming off of single leg into flight. He's starting to get himself ready for this upper body. The reason for flight and the reason we want to be in the air is to add in separation. So we want to make sure that we are pushing the lower body in front of the upper body so we can create more separation as we're flying in the air. Shorter flight is going to end up not giving you enough time to create that separation. Longer flight is going to slow down your left side to the front of the ring. So you can see he's still got his eyes on the landing area. He does not have his chin connected to his left shoulder. That helps separate and helps push back the right side. Same picture from a different view. This is where my athletes know head in the lap. This is something I show all of my athletes. And you can see right here, Wolfgang has his head in whoever that thrower is behind the ring in his lap. And as you see him go through these positions, his head is going to stay right there. That is his axis, and he is going to spin his body around his axis to set up better separation and more tension throughout. Nice high leg drive though, reaching to the middle, chest to the landing area still, eyes are just starting to come off the landing area. Right, now we're in flight. He's trying to keep the discus back. He's trying to get himself ready for the right foot landing. Like I said, this has to happen. You don't want to have both feet on the ground at the same time. We want to be in the air so we can create this, get the hips in front, keep the arm behind, and let ourselves work through the middle of the ring. Again, in the lap, notice the picture. His head is still in the lap. Each one of these are about 6 frames. So he's moved 6 frames forward and he's still got his head in the same place. Hips are turning, discus is still back. Okay, right foot landing, second single support. Right, my cue is right foot wrap. I want to see a wrap when the right foot lands. So the big key of the right foot landing is wrapping the left side and the orbit of the discus that you're trying to set up, right? He lands at a full 6 and 12. Most, if you watch, land somewhere between 3 and 9. But Wolfgang really got his foot around and can control it. Not everybody can do that, obviously. And this is, once again, depending on the athlete. You got a high school starter, you've got an Olympian. Everybody's got something that's a little bit different with their rhythm and a little bit different with their tempo, their bodies, and their strength levels. Some people can't hold their heel up off the ground, as Nick Garcia brought up yesterday. Very important, though. When you land here, once again, your shin cannot be perpendicular. Your knee has to be out in front of the toes so that you can load the quads and keep the foot moving. If you let yourself sit back, you're going to sit your hips back, your foot's going to go flat, and your rotation's going to stop. Still in the lap, right? Still got the head in the lap. This is 12 frames from the first picture with his head in the lap, and he's still there. So he's rotating everything around that axis. The closer we can stay on the axis, the more power we can put forth. You can see his wrap of his left arm, his right heel's off the ground, knees are together, and he's reaching for the front of the ring with his left foot. Great orbit. Second double support. You can see Discopolis is not really what happens, right? When you get your left foot down. Nobody hits with their left foot down in the Discopolis mode, right? He's already pulling his left side. So my cue is left hits, left goes. Discus is back. When we catch, I want to see that we catch the left foot on the ground. We catch the discus at about 3 o'clock. The farther back, the better. Jürgen Schultz was 4 o'clock, maybe even a little farther back than that. But 3 o'clock is minimum of what we want to see. So when the left foot lands, going just against Sergey again, talking about positions, obviously having to go straight off positions here with the not understanding how Zoom works. But this is what I want to see with my athletes. I want to see left foot landing, discus at 3 o'clock. Once again, heel is up on the right side. He's on. You can tell he's on the inside of the ball of his foot. The knee is well out in front of the toes, right? If we're landing perpendicular shins, we're not creating any power. Hips are straight underneath the shoulders. Head's just starting to turn. He's opening up his left side to create the stretch, and then the right leg is going to keep moving. Same picture, right? He just got out of the lap, but you can see he's catching back behind the right leg, behind the hip. Left hand is open, foot starting to turn. You can see again from this view, he's on the inside of the ball of his foot, and that's my cue there. I want to see the big toe into the hip. It's not so much with me that I'm seeing your knee turn, but I want to see you pushing into your big toe and your hip turning. I think the heel turning is reaction from turning the hip. It's not the start of turning the hip. So I want to see you push into the ground with your big toe and get your hip moving. That's why you have to have the knee out in front so you can affect the quads to get the hip moving forward. Going into release, this is what I'd like to see with my athletes. This is a very high level picture and position. Once again, going a little against what Sergey just said, but I want to see 6 and 12. If I can see 6 and 12, I know this is going to be a long throw. So I want to see the discus pointing back at 12 o'clock and your hip pointing forward to 6 o'clock, right? It's a very advanced position. Not very many of my high school kids have been able to hit it, but it is something that can be attained even by high school athletes. They have to be a little bit more advanced, but it's just something to work for. If you're getting this much pull and you can do it with great speed, then you're going to throw the discus a long way. Nice long reach through the right side, block of the left side. Good hard block out of the left side, pushing the hip back up and in, holding the left side block. And then a long extension with the right armpit on top of or a little bit outside of the right hip, right? We don't want to see the armpit going back to the left. We want to see the block and everything going to the right. The whole key is transfer of energy, right? We have to develop energy, then we got to be able to pick up rhythm, and then we'd be able to add tempo. And so if we can control energy and transfer that energy into the implement, obviously it's going to go farther. That comes down to biomechanics and physics, and there's just no way you can fight that. And so the longest orbit in the shortest amount of time is going to get you the biggest results. Same picture out in front. You can't see his left elbow. I tell my athletes, I don't want you at release. I don't want to see your left elbow. If your left elbow is behind your body, you're not holding your block enough, right? And so the reach through the right side, up through the right hip. You can see the right leg is not completely straightened out, but the left leg is. That's the block. That's the lift. Push the right hip forward into the throw, block the left hip up and back, hold the left side, reach through the right arm, throw the discus. I think this throw here was 67 meters or something like that. So then this is, I believe this is the pictures straight ahead of in the lap, right? So you can see him coming out of the ring. You see the person behind him. Look where his head is. 6 frames, heads in the same place. 6 frames, heads in the same place. 6 frames, heads in the same place. So he's totally rotating his body around that axis. Very, once again, high elite athlete stuff, but something that you can strive for. I couldn't help remember as Sergey was talking, I grew up in the 50s and 60s and early 70s. And so that's really the only way you could get technique, right? So I had a frame by frame of Randy Matson and a frame by frame of Al Feuerbach. And so that's how I learned technique. That's how I saw throws. I saw them frame by frame. When I coach, I see throws frame by frame. Bing Yu talked about in his talk the biomechanics of temporal rhythm, and so I used that temporal rhythm, which was on the program, but that every part of the throw has to have a certain time period, and if it's a little too fast or it's a little too slow, you're not going to hit those throws. Remember, he was basing everything off of 65-meter plus throws. But it does work to help you understand where your athlete is not hitting the correct rhythm of the throw. So, hey, there's Mac right there. Same meet, right? So you can see Mac in the same position. Nice right leg, shoulders pretty relaxed, finding the landing area. Good load on the left leg. Nice. Okay, so that is what I got there. And what was that I could share it how? Did I something from Sean said something about how to share the PowerPoint.
I would just keep going. That's probably like a tutorial or something you'd have to watch.
Yeah. we don't all want to do that right now. Trying to find, I just go through different positions here. Let's see. We can talk about some things. These are the pictures that were on that I was using for the PowerPoint. But
Only it seemed to be that by double pressing on the home key, you should be able to open up what other screens are open, and then you should be able to choose that one, and it should share it that way. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm trying to go through it on my iPad for you.
Home screen.
You know, the little button at the bottom, the physical button. If you press that to get out of a screen, it'll open up your other screens. Your other usually have 3 or 4 different screens open on your iPad at once. Maybe this isn't the time to do it, so sorry. I'm
Yeah, that's fine.
just trying to think it would be quick.
Okay, what happened? There we go. All right, so we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we see this Jasinski right here?
Yes, we're all good. Yep.
Right. So, just talk about some positions. So once again, here's Jasinski, single support, nice long arms, relaxed shoulders. Yeah, I don't know if you could get your foot any wider than that. What is he? 6'9", 6'10", 2.4, something like that. So a nice long right leg, nice relaxed upper body. The knee, the hip, and the shoulder are lined up perfectly, right? And so this is the kind of position that we're looking for. I know I'm talking from high school to college and above coaches here. I show pictures. I coach high school. Just for some of you who don't know me, I didn't introduce myself well. I've been coaching high school for 41 years. I've coached some post-collegiate athletes and a couple of Olympic athletes, and we're all trying to get the same place. It's just a big deal. The positions are the same from high school to the Olympics. If you want to throw far, if you want to throw 65 meters, then these positions and these rhythms and these tempos have to be done. My thrower that I'm coaching right now, I think I got a picture on here coming up. 2.04 meters. He's about 6'8", a little over now. I think he's about 140 kilos, and he started off with me with very bad technique. He'd never thrown before, actually, never thrown the discus before he came into high school, but very, very poor posture. This is Milanov from Belgium. Not quite the same, not exactly the same. Shoulders are a little forward, it looks to me, but he's a different type of thrower. He doesn't have the strength of some of the other guys, but he's extremely fast. Rutger Smith says he does special strength exercises that are off the charts, but doesn't know a lot about the weight room. But the basic position is the same. He's got a good wide right leg. He's got the left leg loaded well. He's pretty lined up with his hips and his knees, and is coming into the middle. Malachowski, same thing. Not every position is exactly the same, but the basics are there. I think this was the 16 European Championships. Malachowski won it. I think he threw like 67 meters with a tailwind, something ridiculous like that. This is Aiden. This is just a couple weeks ago, actually. This is a 17-year-old high school senior, 6'8", 300 pounds. Pretty good position. His rhythm's getting better. As he gets better with his rhythm, I think he's going to be able to pick up his tempo. And he's thrown 200 feet, 62 meters. We were hoping to push 70 meters this year, but the virus got to us, and so we're still training. Hopefully some of the meets will come up, but the thing I don't like, you can see Aiden's left hand. He doesn't look relaxed there. It's a little stiff, and he's cupping the discus. But the basic position of where he's at, I like. There's Aiden with his release. Pretty good position, good block. Right hips in position. Nice alignment. Good orbit. This is Seema Antil. I coach for the 12 and the 16 Olympics. Same thing, right foot top contact. She's got a good wrap. Her orbit is a little bit late, could be a little farther over, but pretty good position. This is Stahl at the 18 Europeans, I believe. Looks like he could have rotated his left foot a little bit more, but got a pretty good position going. Bringing his hip, discus is back, eyes on the landing area, lined up well. Kind of out of order here. Kantner, left foot top contact, same thing. Like I said, left arm's already started pulling. He looks like he's a little flat with his right leg to me. His foot's a little flat, could be a little farther forward, but he's got a good reach back with the discus. And he's got his hip moving in front. As Mac was talking about, right, we got to get that left arm out around the left foot. This is Seema coming off the ground, right at right foot come off. She's got pretty good position. As Mac was talking about the other day, her foot, her knee, and her armpit are all lined up. She's got the discus back, and she's about to send that right leg around. Look, it's the kind of stuff we're looking for. I wish I had some video to show you, so it's not just all positions. This is Rutger. I think his hips are a little bit behind. I think his knee should be a little farther out. This is a La Jolla. But he's just reaching with his right arm, left arm, armpit around his toes, and his right foot's about to come off the ground. And once again, trying to find some videos. Any questions?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe do you want to roll into some questions or story time for the next? Do you have
Good.
first? Let's start.
We got about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So questions, or like I said, I had a few things else that I was going to throw on there, but like I said, I've coached all levels. I started with 13-year-olds up to Olympians, and I teach jumping into the middle.
Do you have thoughts on jumping versus stepping into the middle?
I don't use the term jump. I mean, they are supposed to fly, and they do have to drive off their left leg. But the left leg is more of a push and pull. Is my cue. I don't really want you to think about jumping, because that kind of in the mind makes you think of extending, and that slows the rotation down. And so my cue, so Andrew's question is load and push and pull, and it's about getting to the left leg to the front of the ring. We got to get up in the air, but that is generated as much by the right side coming up and through as it is pushing off the left leg, I think. And so my athletes, anyway, if you say jump, they think extending, and I don't really want to see the left leg extend all the way through. As far as cues go, I've always said cues are whatever your athlete understands what you're saying. So if you say, ham and cheese, and they know that means to get your right leg down in the middle of the ring, then ham and cheese is a good cue for you. Everybody has different cues on how they should see things. And I think with different athletes, different cues work, just like how you would teach a technique. A cue is the same. If you if the athlete understands what you're talking about, then that cue works for that athlete. But you could say the same thing to somebody else and they might not understand what it means. So it's not always exactly the same. But head in the lap is a perfect example. Every single one of my athletes has seen that video, and I've pointed that out to them of what they should be doing when they're coming through the flight phase into the second single support. And they know what head in the lap means. So when I say you didn't keep your head in the lap, they understand what that means, but nobody else would know what that means, right? So it's specific to them and their understanding with what I'm talking about. And so as long as your athlete understands that, it's kind of a subjective thing.
Great, good answer. Max says, can you talk about the keys to managing a large high school throws group?
It's like herding cats. You know,
what's been your biggest group?
My biggest group, I had 42 one year at Edison.
Oh my goodness.
Now, see, the opposite, I had 3 this year. 1 guy and 2 girls. That's really easy. Yeah, it's tough. They've got to be self-disciplined. That's usually why I don't have that big a group. And generally, when it starts getting that big, if people come out, if they don't do what I tell them to do, unlike the talk a couple of talks ago, I am more than happy to ask them to leave and not come back. People have asked me before, what do I do with kids who don't come to practice? And I tell them I don't have any kids that don't come to practice. Because if they don't come to practice, they're not on the team anymore. So it's tough. You got to have the kids kind of be teachers, and which is a good thing. You know, I'm a big sayings guy. Like Confucius said, teach once, learn twice. So if you can get your seniors to teach the freshmen the drills, it's good for the seniors because it's going through their minds what they're trying to think and what they're trying to do. And so as far as when I had big groups, it was a lot of the older guys teaching the younger guys. And then, you know, how you split it up, you know, you have half doing shot, half doing disc, or you have half doing shot and half doing drills. And you just kind of got to stand in the middle and kind of see where everybody is. The setup I have at Newport right now is good because the rings are close to each other. But where I used to coach, you know, as always, the discus ring is somewhere out in the back 40, and the shot put rings in the stadium. And so there's a lot of time when they're on their own. So you gotta put somebody in charge.
Yeah, that's good. Andre asked if you had a few more cues that you tend to use frequently. You mentioned the head and the lap, which is good. Do you have any, like 1 or 2 others, maybe?
Well, the rhythm, like you know, Mac used the other day, up, down, you know, down, up, just the opposite there. Things about rhythm, things about, I don't know of any cues that are specific so much that it would make you think of it's more about rhythm and tempo is what I like. Those are the things that I like to use. You know, the rhythm's good, but the tempo's off. Most of the position cues are specific to me, to us, and so they don't necessarily transfer over into some other coaching. 9 o'clock, you know, 9 o'clock drop, the clock a lot. So that's the biggest cue as far as positions go, using the ring as a clock. So I want to see your foot at 9 o'clock. I want to see your hand at 3 o'clock. You know, your eyes should be on the landing area. So I think a big use of the ring as a clock is good for kids who are learning, although most of them don't know how a clock works anymore because they're all looking at their phones and they're not looking at clocks. So they don't really understand what 6 o'clock is or what 12 o'clock is. So you have to teach them that. But I would say that's probably the most consistent that I use.
From Mary, what discus specific strength exercises do you use for each power part of the throw?
Well, the basics, Olympic lifts, we do multiple types of snatches, cleans, jerks. We do multiple types of squats, and that's also based on the individual. So, Aiden was really bad unilaterally. So we did a lot of lunges. We did a lot of step ups. We did a lot of one leg squats. We did a lot of dumbbell bench, dumbbell press, because bilaterally he could do things, but unilaterally he wasn't very good. As far as specific to the discus, a lot of rotational. If you've ever seen Bulgarian bags, we use the hell out of those. I love those as implements. Ball throws. We've got medicine balls from 60 to 200 pounds. So if you want to build core, have your kids pick up 150-pound medicine balls and throw it over their shoulders, because that'll build a good core, I'll tell you right now. Landmines, pretty much anything rotational. We also do a lot of rubber band holds, not necessarily even twisting, but just holding a tight rubber band. So you get the eccentric, concentric, and that's the key, I think, is doing both. That's why I see people do pulls and not catch the bar. And understandably, if you don't understand how to teach Olympic lifting, I don't think you should do that. But that's what I like about the Olympic lifts, is the aspect of the eccentric and concentric application in the lift itself, that you don't get out of a lot of things. But so, like say, specifically, a lot of trunk work. We have slush pipes, a lot of Romans and hypers with slush pipes and things like that change the center of mass, so you have to work against it. I think that's really good for the discus. I think it'd be really good for all throwing events, obviously. I think that answers your question.
Cool, for sure. And here's one from Jim. Do you have athletes make any adjustments with their left foot push into the ground and drive out of the back of if the ring is wet? Sorry, I didn't realize that was different.
If the ring is wet, no. We work on being balanced. And so balanced is balanced. It doesn't matter what the condition of the ring is. We will, if we know it's going to rain, I'll spray them with a hose and throw water on them and put water in the ring and do all those kind of things. I used to have a ring that I kept purposefully slick, so that when we knew we were going to go throw at a slick ring, we would work out of that ring. But it truly is. Everybody slips occasionally, but the more balanced you are, the better you're going to be in any condition. Cochran won state meet for me back in 2013. I think it was raining and nobody else could get out of the back of the ring. He threw 55 meters and ended up winning it, because either they couldn't get out of the ring or they didn't know how to keep their discus dry. And that's the two keys if it's wet, is don't waste your towels on the ring. Keep your towels for your implement, and keep your implement dry, and you have a better chance of throwing far. If your implement gets wet, it doesn't matter what you do with anything else, you're not going to throw it very far. So that's what we do.
Reminds me of Olympic trials. Wait, was that in 12 or 16? Anyway, the one that got rained out, and it was in 12 because Lance won, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Was a rain story for you.
Yeah.
Nick Petrucci, I was coaching, and it was up at the Prefontaine. Hopefully Nick's not listening right now. But it was raining, and who had just thrown, I'll remember his name in a minute, just threw like 65 meters, full downpour rain up in Oregon. Nick's the next throw, he gets in the ring, starts his wind up, discus comes right out of his hand into the net. So even at the Olympic level, world-class thrower, things like that happen when it rains. And so all he could do was put his head down and walk out of the ring and take the foul.
Totally. So Tony, thank you for joining us. That was good.
Yeah.
Hiccups are hiccups, man. You gotta adapt, right? That's part of
Gotta
it.
make adjustments, right? You got to be able to make adjustments.
Well, we got the ball rolling. That was really good. I really appreciate it.
So I'll send you I'll figure out how to send this to you, and then you can get it to everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let me know, and then if it's something that you don't mind sharing, then I'll happily.
No, I was hoping to share it.
Right on. Okay. So.